as an occupational therapist, you pretty much are gonna have a job wherever kind of you want, which is perfect, honey.
Another banger. Make a phone, make a phone, 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 make a call, make a keep a phone, 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 your body.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Deerenee's The OT Chronicles. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and joining me in the OT fam. Make sure you do those big 3 things for me you already know. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment down below. I love talking and interacting with all of you, especially about all your OT journeys. It's just so cool to just, I don't know, hear your stories. So yeah, just make sure you leave a comment below because I love speaking with all of you. So yeah, let's get into this week's video. Okay, so if you're new here and you don't know me, hello, my name is Dee. I am an occupational therapy student. I am in my first level 2 rotation right now. So my uploading schedule is a little different. I am very busy, and so I usually upload once a week. I'm trying my best to keep up with the once a week. Sorry sometimes if it's like once every 2 weeks. I'm just trying to kind of figure out my life right now as I'm going through my level 2 rotation. But yeah, enough about that. Let's get into this week's video. Okay, so as you know, I have my notebook here. I don't have my iPad today, but I wrote down pretty much all the settings. I did some research, so I will link everything that I got, all of my kind of settings and all the specialties from. I'll link that in my description so that you can check it out even more, because they really went into detail on these sites that I kind of found this stuff from. I also pulled some information from my notes as well. But we're gonna get into the settings. So as an occupational therapist, you pretty much are gonna have a job wherever kind of you want, which is perfect, honey. So I'm kind of gonna tell you 12 settings into where an occupational therapist can work. Now there is plenty more, you can do your own research, but these are 12 that are like most common that you see amongst occupational therapists. First one is the hospital. The hospital is where occupational therapists mostly do work, or at least a fair amount of us do work. So in the hospital, you can work with adults, you can work with older adults, you can work with children, you can work in acute care settings. Acute care simply just means it's short-term care. So the kind of services that you're gonna provide in an acute care kind of hospital setting is pretty much you're gonna see a patient for probably 20-30 minutes. You're not gonna see a patient for an hour. That's just not happening in acute, and that's mainly because they're not going to stay there long. Usually they stay amongst like 3 to 5 days. I've seen someone stay for 2 weeks, but that was very rare. And I personally have done acute inpatient rehab, so I have personal experience in this setting. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about is outpatient. So if you don't know what outpatient is like at a clinic, at a rehab center, things like that. And with outpatient, you can do, again, pediatrics, which is children. You can do adults, you can do older adults. It kind of just depends what's in your area, what you like to do, which you'll figure out kind of when you're going through your fieldwork process. And outpatient, I personally do adore. I do have experience with outpatient pediatrics as one of my settings as well. So I've experienced with 2 of them so far. Okay, the next one, which I'm super excited about, is travel therapy. So just how you have a traveling nurse, you have a traveling physical therapist, you can have a traveling occupational therapist. This is something that I'm extremely excited about because this is a field that I actually want to get into. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I do know that I want to do it at least a little bit, like maybe for a year or so. So with travel therapy, you're basically placed at an establishment. It could be a hospital, it could be a school, wherever they place you. You do have a say in where you go and all of that. So if you want to look more into travel therapy, I would highly suggest it because I think it's pretty cool. But travel therapy is you're placed in a setting for, I think it's about 3 months max, I would say. And then after that, you move to the next setting. And what I've seen, and when I've spoken to companies for like advanced travel therapy, things like that, and they've reached out to me, they kind of basically said that like if I found a placement that I really enjoyed, I could apply to stay there and have that be like my long-term setting or like placement. So I think travel therapy is pretty cool. You are very independent as an OT if you are a traveling therapist. So that's the only thing that kind of worries me as a new grad, but it is something that I personally want to do, kind of try out, add to like my little OT portfolio or something. So yeah, that's something that I personally want to do. So yeah. Okay, so the next kind of setting is more mental health. So I'm talking more about like adult day programs, psychiatric wards, things like that. OTs can work in that setting as well. I personally have done this setting multiple times, and I enjoy the setting. Is it something that I want to do full time? Probably not. But I do think that if you are someone that enjoys mental health and you like working with patients that have different type of mental diagnoses, then I do think that this kind of setting would be good for you. So that is another setting. Right? And so the next setting is going to be skilled nursing facilities. This is something that OTs are seen in all the time. It's one of the areas that we honestly get paid the most, and personally I've never been in a SNF. That's like the nickname, SNF. And I personally have never done it, so I'm not sure how that kind of setting works, but I will say that from the people that I've talked to that have been in that setting, they've enjoyed it. So that's another option that you have as an occupational therapist. And the next setting we have is home health. So home health is pretty interesting. Now, I know lots of people that have done home health. I've heard the good, I've heard the bad, I've heard the ugly, I've heard all of it. Personally, I have never done home health, but pretty much what that is you're basically going to your patients and working with them inside of their home. Personally, I don't see myself doing home health. I just personally don't like me going into other people's homes like that, but who knows where I may land on my OT journey. So I just want to let y'all know that is another option as well. Another setting is neuro outpatient. So I know how I spoke about outpatient before, but neuro outpatient is like a little different just because you're working on like neuroscience technically. So it's a lot of like brain, spinal cords, all of those kind of injuries. Me personally, that's not my specialty. In school, that class was extremely hard for me. It was very interesting though, but it was extremely hard for me. So I don't ever see myself working with neuro outpatient settings or things of that nature. I may have a patient that has like a neurological deficit, but that's different than working in a whole outpatient dedicated to those type of diagnoses. You will not see Deereneee Henderson working there, I'll tell you that. But that is an option for you, okay? All right, so the next one is workplace ergonomics. So this is something that actually interests me when I was in school, and I actually had like a lecture on this. So ergonomics is more about we're going into the environment and we're seeing how the person is basically, how their workstation is, how their workplace is. So more on how is their seating, how is their eye-hand coordination, what are some ways that we can adjust their desk so that maybe they need a standing desk because they're sitting too much, they're very sedentary. Maybe we can go in and add just a whole bunch of different things. And I knew nothing about this. I did not know OTs did this at all until I had a lecture on it, and I actually did a project on it. But I will say, if you're someone that kind of wants to do things with like workplace and going into an environment and giving recommendations and things of that nature, then this would be for you. This is kind of the setting that you would probably thrive in. So yeah. Okay, so another setting that you can be in is like the academic and research setting. So as an OT, of course, you go to OT school, you have OT professors. So you can become an OT professor. You will need a doctorate degree to do that. So if you're not in an OTD program, an entry-level one, you will have to go back to school after your master's. After you go back to school and go ahead and get your doctorate, then you're all good to go to teach. I personally probably will see myself when I get older teaching. I'm not sure exactly kind of where my life's gonna take me again, but I could see myself teaching. So, and the whole research aspect, it's the same kind of thing. It's just, as an OT, we do have research out there. We are researchers, so it's kind of just built into us. So being a part of the research program, it's more of dedicating a lot of your profession and pretty much all of your time to trying different interventions and trying new theories and things of that nature so that you can broaden our profession and you can just help our profession grow. So So that is another setting that you can go into. Okay, so we have 2 more settings left. So the next setting is what I'm in right now. So my level 2 fieldwork rotation is in a school. So you can be an occupational therapist in a school district. What I'm learning as being a school-based OT right now is that you can be assigned tons of schools. I'm so blessed that I only am assigned 2 schools, but I also do have 90 students on my caseload. So, I mean, it's pros and cons. I will say that I'm loving being a school-based OT. I love working with my kids. I love all of the things that like just makes me feel like I'm really impacting them. It's very different, I would say, than working with adults and like older adults in that kind of setting, because a lot of my stuff is play-based, which is kind of what it's supposed to be, because that's like most children's occupation with the ages that I'm working with. So I personally do love school-based. So if you have any questions, make sure you leave that in the comments down below about school-based OT, because that is currently what I'm doing right now. Starting Monday, I will be 6 weeks into my rotation, which means I'm halfway done my first rotation. So if you like school-based OT and want to just chat, I am the girl for you, because I love school-based OT. All right, and then we have our last setting, which is early intervention. Early intervention is exactly what it sounds like. You're mostly working with children, but you're working with newborns to about 3 years old. That is a different kind of setting because you're focusing on reflexes, you're focusing on basically more developmental milestones that are happening within that age gap. Where school-based OT, I'm working on developmental milestones, but my age range is completely different. So personally, I'm working with kindergarten to 5th grade, where early intervention, it's kind of like the preschool range and newborns. So you're really working from 0 years old to 3 years old. I don't know if I see myself working with babies and things of that nature, but then again, I don't know where my OT journey is going to take me, so you may see me in early intervention. But I will say, as far as getting paid is, early intervention, you do get paid a fair amount of money as an OT. So yeah, that is all of our settings that you could possibly be in OT. Again, you're gonna check out my description box for the resources that I got this information from, because they really went into detail with kind of what you'll see as an OT in these different kinds of settings. All right, so that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching and staying and just finding out some more things about OT. I love interacting with all of you. I think it is just so cool how my channel is growing. We're almost at 800 subscribers, so I just wanted to thank all of my new family members that joined the OT fam. And so yeah, when we hit our 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. So yeah, I can't wait till we hit 1,000 subscribers. And I'm just so happy. I'm the happiest little camper over here. All right, y'all, I will see you all in my next video. All right, bye.
Another